Yo, welcome back to another episode of Reds and Blues. And this week we're looking at the two Manchester clubs. So I think both the Manchester clubs started the season pretty similarly. I think they started really slow, they look super inconsistent, there look like a lot of issues with the system and the players, but they've really got it together now. I think with City, the last time I spoke about City, I spoke about the need for a rebuild since a lot of integral parts of that team are now either out or on their way out of the squad. And also about Pep. At that point, Pep's future was quite unsure. He hadn't signed on a new contract, but he signed on for 2 years now. And so we come to this place where we don't know whether Pep has the ability to rebuild, even though this is a very different kind of rebuild because they're already at such a high level. But according to me, he's doing a really good job right now. When you look at that squad, I think a couple of massive problems that they had towards the end of last year, actually throughout last season and the beginning of this season, was that they were really conceding a lot. Their defense looked super shaky. And he's fixed it really well, according to me, and it's been quite surprising how fast this defense has turned around. I think there are two big reasons. One is the personnel change and how these players have stepped up. But the other thing is, if you watch City play now, Pep is definitely playing more conservatively than he was before. And it makes a lot of sense because we're used to seeing City really trash teams and all. That's the City that a lot of neutral fans kind of think of in full flow, destroying teams and stuff. But there has also been the City that win 1-0, 2-1 and stuff like that, which is stuff to do with a shaky defense. But he's got Ruben Diaz and John Stones playing so well right now, and I'm so happy for Stones because I think Stones is a brilliant player. I love that he's got his form back. I think he's going to be a big part of the England squad now if he can keep this form going. So he's got the two of them looking really good. He's got João Cancelo fully integrated into that squad now, which is a little annoying because I remember, I think 2 seasons ago, one season into João Cancelo's time at the club, he wasn't playing a lot and he looked like he was on his way out, and I really wanted him at Tottenham. But he's really turned it around. He's a killer player. So again, he's got this player who plays right back, could play left back, has slotted in. I don't know whether he's slotted in as a CDM, but there have been a couple of games where he's moved into that CDM role and played down the middle. So a really useful utility player, and it doesn't even look like they're missing Laporte. The other thing is, the City and Everton game got postponed because of COVID cases. So City have been without a few players. In spite of that, they beat Chelsea and United convincingly on the bounce. In both those games, they effectively set up without a striker. They played De Bruyne in this false nine kind of position, and it was brilliant. The whole setup was great. One player I really want to shout out who's been absolutely phenomenal this season, and I think his ceiling is so high, is Phil Foden. That player is super exciting. He's so young. He looks so mature for his age on the ball. And yeah, I think the fact that he's physical, even though he looks quite small, he's got a goal in him. His range of passing is great. He's sort of all over the place on the field if he has to. Is just brilliant. And for somebody who's already being integrated into the first team and playing a number of positions, it looks like he's going to be a really integral part of this next City team. The other thing that kind of scares me about City is that they haven't really been linked to any strikers in this window. I think it's fairly obvious that Aguero's on his way out. Jesus does not look like the replacement. I can see Jesus staying in the squad because every squad needs two strikers, but I feel like they're going to invest big and they're going to get a striker. I don't know whether that means they get somebody like Haaland in during the summer, but I think they're going to go in for a big striker, and that's going to be massive. So when you look at the table, City were really struggling in the beginning of the season. They dropped a lot of stupid points. They didn't really look like they were up for the title race. And they've just silently creeped back into it. City are fifth, but they have 2 games in hand. So if they win their 2 games, they go up to 35 points. And Liverpool are on 33 points. So they would go ahead of Liverpool, but United have a game in hand. So if United wins that game in hand, they'll be on 36. But effectively, City could very well leapfrog Liverpool in the next 2 weeks. And you've got a crazy title race on. Tottenham's in the mix. They have a game in hand. They'd be a point off Liverpool. United's definitely there now. We're going to get to United really soon. But really, it's just crazy how this City team that was Centurions and then they won the domestic treble and stuff were kind of written off so easily because they hit some bad form and Pep was uncertain and stuff, and they've just quietly got right back into the mix. And the thing with the City team is you're not talking about a Tottenham or even a Chelsea at this stage, or a Leicester or someone who has question marks over the squad and the winning mentality and stuff like that, because this City team has won a lot. So they're definitely in for a shout. I would say at this point on form, they're favourites to win the title. I'm becoming less and less sure about Liverpool based on their inconsistencies, and next up is definitely City with the kind of squad they have and the manager they have. And from what we're seeing right now, Pep being able to change things around and play more conservatively and get wins, even if they aren't like the big smashing team wins. So yeah, City look really good right now, and that takes us to their rivals. And I must say, I'm quite annoyed that United's doing so well, because it's been so nice to have a little bit of peace and quiet from the United fans. And I'm sure if they win the league or come close, they're going to start chirping again. But like I said last time, United's problem seems to be their inconsistencies. And another thing I don't want to put too much emphasis on, but definitely talk about, is the fact that this United team now has gone to 4 semi-finals and lost. It's not a big deal because 3 of those semi-finals were last season and then 1 this season. So you're not talking about a team that over time has struggled to win or get over the line. But it's something that I feel can already be at the back of their minds, that they can't get over the line. Another example of that I'm going to throw into this category is what happened with them in the Champions League this season. Because they had a really tough group, but they beat PSG and Leipzig in their first 2 games. Effectively, they really just needed a point from their last 3 games to get through. That last 3, or basically they needed to win their 2 Istanbul games and then just get a point. And they couldn't. They choked. And it was tough, but they really put themselves in a position to do it easily, and they struggled. So there are question marks about this United team with Oli. Can they get over the line? I definitely think they have the quality to. They have a brilliant team. They've got squad depth. And they've got young players who are just going to become better. But that is my main question mark with United. Can they get over the line? Also, can they be consistent? Because we've seen them now be fairly consistent in the league. But can they keep it up? How long does this run go on for? So they play Burnley next, and I think they're going to beat Burnley, but they play Liverpool after that. And then they got another. So I think it's a big time for both United and City, because they've got some really favourable fixtures. So 3 out of United's next 4 fixtures are Burnley, Fulham and Sheffield, with a Liverpool game in the middle. But then they go on to Arsenal, Southampton, Everton, which are going to be tougher games. City, on the other hand, have a super favourable run of fixtures. I honestly would be quite shocked if we don't see City sitting at the top of the Premier League in the next month, because City play Brighton, Palace, Villa, West Brom, Sheffield, Burnley. That's insane that they have 6 easy games back to back in the league. So I think City's gonna probably leapfrog United before they play each other next, or City even plays a tough game next. But to go back to United, I think Ollie really deserves some credit because he's faced so much heat. The guy gets so much hate for everything, from formations to the players he picks to being called a PE teacher to really, I mean, when you start looking at some of the stats around Ollie, it's just crazy. I think his win percentage is close to upper 60s, if I'm not mistaken. He's close to being better than Pep in terms of his win percentage, which is insane. And I was listening to a United show the other day while they were talking about Ollie, and one of the fans was talking about why he is still Ollie out. And he pointed to performances more than results, saying that, in Ollie's time as a manager, how many great performances can you point to? You can point to a lot of games where United had really good runs of 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 45 minutes, really good halves here and there. But honestly, I think that's a small problem if he comes good at the end of this season. If he wins something, it really doesn't matter. If he wins the league, it doesn't matter at all. So I think United fans that want him out are being quite hyperbolic. There's so much hate and it changes week in, week out based on results. I think they just need to give him some time. I think he deserves some time. If everything about United's board is true and at the end of the day they are difficult and they're not really getting the manager, the players he wants, even though they're investing money in players, then I think he's doing a brilliant job. He has a great squad. He's getting a lot out of them. I think we're reaching the point where it's like when you don't like a player and you're watching him play and he makes a mistake and you're like, oh my god, look, he did that. But you're completely excluding the 10 amazing things he did before that. I think that's where we're at with Ollie, with a lot of United fans. It's just like we're going to find any fault we can at this point, even though he's really close to them being top of the league. They play Burnley tomorrow. If they win, they're top of the league, yeah. So that's where I'm at with United. I think consistency is key for them because they've shown that they can beat teams, that they play good football. They've reached a bunch of semi-finals, so they really just got to get it over the line now. And I think when it comes to United and City, we saw them play last week and I thought it was a good game. United were decent, but City were clear of them. And I think it highlighted the quality difference between the two teams. I think City's going to finish ahead of United this season. It's a crazy season and anything can happen. So I wouldn't say I'm 100% sure, but I'm pretty confident that they will. I think for United, it's going to come down to priorities. They're obviously going to prioritize the league at this point, but when the Europa League comes around again, when we reach the latter stages of the FA Cup, we're going to see where they decide to rest players and what happens then. We're seeing like a super congested fixture list, so rotation is going to be key. And I think that's where we're going to see managers really have to make difficult calls and make the right calls in terms of protecting players and making sure that players are fit while juggling this whole COVID thing, because you're going to have situations like the City one where suddenly you lose a bunch of players for a couple of games. But it's going to be an exciting season. I think it's shaping up really well. Both these teams are going to be right in the mix with Liverpool and Tottenham, I'm going to say confidently, for the title. So if you enjoyed this video, please drop a like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.